Kickoff 2023 is finally here. He is Josh. I am Darren. What's going on, everybody? Welcome inside Bonfire Sports. We're just two dumb Canadians here to talk American gridiron football. Let's get into it. Josh, power rankings have been done over and over again. Boring. Been there, done that. Let's power rank the divisions, and you're going to start with the NFC.
Yeah, NFC this year, Darren, is a little bit of a toss-up, if you would. It has been. We've seen it rule the league in previous years, but some of those old wily vets, such as the Drew Breeses and the Aaron Rodgers of the world, they've retired. They've moved on to other conferences, and so this has kind of left it with a young and really unproven kind of group here in the NFC. But we're going to start with the NFC East, and this is featuring a quartet of really capable teams in the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, Washington Commanders, and the New York Giants. Eagles are poised, in my mind, to return back to the big game. Dallas is no slouch as well; could be a dark horse to go take the NFC East there. And then the Commanders have a young quarterback in Sam Howell, who could maybe make a little bit of noise there and surprise some. But the Giants are trying to run it back as well, recapture some of that magic that they saw last year and get back into the playoffs. Moving on to the NFC North, and this one could catch some people off guard because Green Bay is now without Aaron Rodgers. Minnesota, in a lot of people's mind, is regressing. Chicago, who knows with Chicago, and Detroit is this up-and-coming team. But I'm here to tell you that I think that the Green Bay Packers are a team that people need to not sleep on. And yes, is there Aaron Rodgers jersey right behind me? Green Bay, sure. There could be a little bit of bias in.
But do you
there.
got love for the new quarterback?
I got a lot of love for love, baby. He is I'm very high on him. I think the Packers got something there with him, and this is going to be a foundational year certainly, but I think that certainly people need to also not sleep on this team because it's very talented despite having an unproven quarterback at the helm. With Minnesota and Chicago as well, these are teams that still could make a little bit of noise. We'll see. Again, they kind of fall in line with this unproven NFC. And so there's a lot up in the air. And Detroit is just looking like a team that a lot of people are backing these days. I want to go on to
maybe Detroit can learn how to play a little defense, and that division will be competitive.
That they are really not great on the defensive side of the ball. they have a really good offense, but they're hopefully they made some key additions this year. CJ Gardner-Johnson, and hopefully a guy like Aiden Hutchinson can take another step this year, and they can make a little bit more noise on the defensive side of the ball. But they're probably, odds are, they're going to be in some more track meets this year. There's no doubt about that. Going on to the third division here. Let's go to the NFC West. This was a division that just not too many years ago was looking like the cream of the crop of the NFL with you had Kyler Murray, a young Kyler Murray. People were bullish about Matthew Stafford, and the LA Rams were all in on things now. Seattle still had Russell Wilson and hopefully trying to just hold on to some of that magic from the Legion of Boom days as well. And then you have the San Francisco 49ers who are staying, who are always competitive in the Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch era. But now the Rams and the Cardinals have kind of fallen off a little bit. I expect both of them to be top 10 picks this year. But the Seattle Seahawks, I think, could surprise some people this year with Geno Smith at the helm now. And San Francisco is just going to continue being San Francisco. They're good on the defensive side of the ball. Nick Bosa, probably the best defensive player in the NFL. And they have Eric Armstead. They have just a whole slew of talent. And on the offensive side of the ball, Brock Purdy's coming back. Brock Purdy had some magic last year, and I don't think he was just a flash in the pan. A flash in the pan. I really don't. I think that Brock Purdy's gonna be able to prove some people that he really is a franchise quarterback, and especially in the Kyle Shanahan scheme, which it's quarterback friendly.
Yep.
And let's go on to just round this out with the NFC South here. This is not a very good division. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers, who, again, kind of similar to the Rams and the Cardinals. It would not shock me both these teams are picking inside the top 7 in next year's NFL draft. And then the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. The Saints have new quarterback in Derek Carr, which is awesome. They have some weapons around him. Michael Thomas, is coming back. We'll see how long he lasts, and the defensive side of the ball could be strong once again. And then the Atlanta Falcons with an unproven quarterback once again. We keep using this word unproven. Desmond Ridder at the helm now, but they have some weapons around him. They got eighth
Yeah.
overall pick Bijan Robinson now toting the rock for them. They got Drake London in a second year, Kyle Pitts in a third year, and this is the third year now for Terry Fontenot, the GM, and Arthur Smith here. So this regime, and they've also spent a boatload of money this offseason in improving that defense. So they've got draft picks invested in the offense. They've got money invested in the defense. This is a team that, who knows, maybe could surprise some people, and they could. But the division as a whole, it's really looking like a two-man battle between the Saints and the Falcons. And really, those teams might need 8 wins to win this division this year. It's not really a strong division, but those, I think, are how I rank those the 4 divisions in the NFC.
Yeah, your number 4 makes sense to me. Your number 3, the NFC West, I don't know how you have them as the third best division in the NFC. The Niners are a powerhouse. Seattle, they're already talking about the defense being the Legion of Boom 2. And maybe another year at Geno will,
Yep.
pay even greater dividends. That is surprising to me. We'll see what Sean McVay and the Rams can do this year if he can
Right.
be rejuvenated after a down season. But that one surprised me.
I'm looking at the whole, Darren. I'm looking at
Sure.
the whole
Yeah, yeah.
division as a whole, and these two of those teams, you got two of the teams picking in the top 10 in my mind. There's no chance that I can't sit here and look at a division as a whole and say, yeah, that whole division needs to be ranked in the
I
top
I
2 or
really
top
only
1.
I really only see the Cardinals as the weak team in that division, but that's just me. That's just me.
Interesting. I
I
want to.
will rank now the power of the 4 divisions in the AFC, and I'm going to start with the North. Stacked from top to bottom, this division is the Cincinnati Bengals, pretty much Cinderella every single year, trying to find their way to a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. The defense, special teams, they are a very well rounded team. You have the Baltimore Ravens, who I think are going to make a lot of noise in 2023. The Cleveland Browns are getting better all the time, but it's going to be tough in this division. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, another year of Kenny Pickett. We'll see if Pickett and Pickens can become kind of that, Ben Roethlisberger, Deontay Johnson or Antonio Brown
Antonio
combination that we
Brown.
used to see in years past. The AFC North, they are the best division in football today, definitely number 1 in the AFC. At number 2, I'm going to the East. And of course, everybody talks about the Buffalo Bills. We know all about them and, waiting for Von Miller to get healthy again. And when that happens, everything's going to be clicking. Steph Diggs, Josh Allen, fantasy darlings every single year. No surprise there. The Miami Dolphins, I think, it will depend a lot on Tua Tagovailoa. And if he is healthy after those pretty hellacious head injuries last season, but they have got so much weaponry on offense, good line play on both sides of the football, well-coached team in the AFC East. The New York Jets, a team I really, really like in 2023. You add Aaron Rodgers to an already very solid base of a football team in all 3 phases, incredibly well coached. No Chris Streveler anymore, but they showed even with very poor quarterbacking last season outside of Chris Streveler and his kind of trickery as a power fullback style quarterback, but the New York Jets showed that they were one player away from being a serious contender. They're getting a lot of talk this year. Aaron Rodgers, well, he's hanging out with the receivers. He's doing those extra things that he didn't do in Green Bay last year when that relationship had really soured. I'm expecting big things from Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. The Patriots, well, they add Zeke Elliott, another year of Mac Jones. You can never really sleep on a Bill Belichick football team. That AFC East is really, really good. If it wasn't for the AFC North, I think the AFC East would be an easy pick to be number 1 in a conference power rankings. I'm then looking over to the AFC West. Look, you got the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes, one more year of experience. I think he just gets that much better every single time he steps on the field. Will Sean Payton rejuvenate a talented Denver Broncos team? Will he figure out the secret recipe to Russell Wilson cooking in the kitchen? We'll have to wait and see how that shakes out. But that's why, with the Chargers and how disappointing they were in the playoffs last year, and the Las Vegas Raiders pretty lost right now, I think, with Jimmy Garoppolo stepping in for the departed Derek Carr. The Raiders and the Chargers, they really pull this division back down. The big question mark that is the Denver Broncos. It's really only the Kansas City Chiefs that I think I am assured of for 2023 in this division. That's why I've got them number 3 in my AFC divisional power rankings. And then, of course, bringing up the rear is a division with some of the worst teams in pro football. The Indianapolis Colts, maybe Anthony Richardson will be able to get something happening there, but just too many holes on their roster. I just don't know what we're going to get. The Tennessee Titans, hey, King Henry, Derek is going to be, well, he just turned 30 years old. Does he have another year of that premium fuel in the tank? If he does, him, Ryan Tannehill, some good players around them, as well as a good defense. We'll see what Tennessee can do, but I'm not too sold on them. The Texans, hey, it almost goes without saying, probably going to be picking first, if not second, in the 2024 NFL draft. The Jaguars were the darling of the AFC playoffs a year ago, Josh. I like them. Another year of Trevor Lawrence, a very good defense, lots of impact playmakers on that side of the football. But really, outside of Tennessee, maybe doing some things, Jacksonville maybe doing some things, this division is incredibly weak. I think Jacksonville's going to run away with it, but they are definitely and firmly in number 4 in my AFC divisional power rankings.
I think that you need to maybe put a little bit more respect on Anthony Richardson's name with the Indianapolis Colts there at the helm. But as far as my biggest qualm with this is just the 2 and 3 rankings. Okay, I can get behind the AFC North being the number 1 there. I do agree they are the best division in football. But when you're talking about the division as a whole here, the New England Patriots, and then I don't know if I'm really loving. They got Bill O'Brien back as the offensive coordinator. I guess that defense could be strong once again. But then Mac Jones, what he showed, man, last year was not all that great. What weapons do they have? They got Zeke Elliott. What, he like 100 years old, and he's just getting a little tubby as well. He's turned into a one trick pony. He's just a big bulldozer, which is, I mean, good for him, I guess. You got Tua Tagovailoa, who seems like, I mean, God forbid that he gets hit again, but like, who knows? Like, my God, the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, yeah, sure, they could be good, but a lot of coulds here. I like my chances with the AFC West a lot better with the proven quarterback in Justin Herbert, the proven quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. I don't hate Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm there, and I don't hate Russell Wilson. You just talked about Sean Payton being able to rejuvenate what's already a talented team. He's proved it in New Orleans already. Why can't he do it here in Denver as well? I think that AFC West could surprise some teams, some people this year. I think the AFC East maybe just maybe could be a little bit weaker than a lot of people are giving them credit for, because I think a lot of people are already putting the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets in that AFC championship game almost, and in the AFC divisional round already, which I think we might just need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Hey, you want proven quarterbacks. How about Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers? That's all I'm saying. Josh, let's move on to our Bulls and Bears. And for those of you out there that play the stock market a little bit, you know what we're talking about. Bull markets are surging. Bear markets are dwindling. Who do you like to maybe surprise a team on the uptick in 2023?
Yeah, this one's easy for me, and we're going to go back to the NFC. I talked about them in a weak NFC South division. We're going to go to the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of unproven there. We have, but a lot of talent. I just finished talking about Terry Fontenot, the GM in Atlanta. I finished talking about Arthur Smith, the the head coach there coming over from Tennessee, former offensive coordinator. They've invested in this offense with high draft picks. 8th overall pick, Bijan Robinson. I think it was 11th overall, Drake London. Then they went 4th overall for Kyle Pitts. Like, we're talking high draft capital in their big weaponry. They have one of the best offensive lines in football. They have one of the best rushing attacks in football. They have the passing game also potentially with Desmond Ridder there, who is maybe the only question mark on this team. Outside of that, the defense, like I said, they invested a gajillion dollars into the defense this offseason. That defense is going to see a jump in a weak division and in an NFC conference that might be a little bit shaky outside of maybe the top 2 or 3 teams. This is an opportunity for the Atlanta Falcons to really take that next step. And any bets, any futures bets you want to talk about as far as the Atlanta Falcons, Darren, whether it's over win total or to make the playoffs or to win the division, I'm all in on the Atlanta Falcons this year. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to go make a Cinderella run and go to the Super Bowl or anything like that, but I think a lot of people have this team picking inside the top 5 or top 10 once again this year because of their quarterback situation. I'm here to say maybe we need to rethink this. And I think this team, we could see them dancing in the big dance in January.
Hey, my criticism with your assessment there comes from your own words. Maybe the only question mark on this team is Desmond Ridder. It's the most important position in football, and he is a question mark. But I'm kind of with you. I'll give you that. Around him, everything is in place. I need to see it to believe it, but that is your bull for 2023. I like it. I am going to go with the New York Jets. I'm buying the New York Jets. I think they are on the uptick. And this isn't all about Aaron Rodgers. What Coach Saleh has done in New York is change the culture. They play hard-nosed football. They play at the line of scrimmage. They play fundamentals, and they're playing for each other. You see what's happening in the locker room. You see what's happening off the field with guys spending time together and really kind of building that brotherhood. The football team that you and I cover here in the Canadian Football League is a team that has year in and year out success because of the culture inside the facility. I see that happening in New York. You add Aaron Rodgers to that mix, that veteran savvy, that confidence a team gets when you bring in a multi-time Pro Bowler and multi-MVP at the most important position. I'm buying the New York Jets to really make some noise in the AFC this year. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? I mean, it could happen. They're not my number one pick, but I think they're definitely going to be in the mix come this winter and the playoffs in January.
You know, everything looks all roses and rainbows at this time of year, especially when we're seeing Aaron Rodgers, the change of scenery, and then he's going to all these operas and he's going to these dances. He's hanging out with the teammates at MSG every night. Everything's roses and rainbows. Nothing can possibly go wrong. I've watched this guy for 2 decades, my entire life, okay? And I'm telling you right now that when the going starts getting tough a little bit, there's not going to be as many smiles on these guys' faces. He's surrounded by young talent as well. Although they got the veteranness of Aaron Rodgers, he likes things done a particular way. And if things aren't done to that standard, there's going to be a little bit of yelling happening. And there's going to be a little bit of cursing going on along the way as well if things aren't up to his par. Things are not going to be roses and rainbows. There's going to be some tough times along this season. And I think although for as talented as this team looks to be on paper, that does not solidify them in any way, shape, or form to be in the mix, especially if we're talking about what their Super Bowl or bust aspirations. You just finished talking about, you don't know if they're your number one pick. This is Super Bowl or bust for the New York Jets at this point in Aaron Rodgers' career. I think that this very well could be a bust. I think we really need to pump the brakes on whether or not this team is actually a top 4 team in the NFL, let alone a top 2, let alone a top 1 team in the NFL. Let's pump the brakes on the Jets a little bit.
All right. Well, you know what? I forgot to mention people sleeping on the New York Jets run game. Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook. I think that is going to be a great 1-2 punch in New York this year.
It could be.
But let's go to our Bears and teams
Bears.
that we think are on the downturn in 2023. I'll start this time, and I'm staying in the AFC East. The Miami Dolphins get a lot of hype and a lot of love for Tua Tagovailoa, for Hill, and for Waddle, and for all of the speed and big play weaponry that they have. Unfortunately, Tagovailoa is spending this offseason learning how to fall safely because of those head injuries, because of his health on and off the football field. He's going and doing these kind of strange things. I think it's strange to a lot of people. Maybe it's not in football circles, but he is actually training to learn how to fall properly so he doesn't get hurt. Unfortunately, in football, it's not about how you fall, it's how you get hit. And taking hits and being pressured and those sorts of things, a lot is going to depend on the Miami Dolphins offensive line. You want to use that speed weaponry in the offense. It takes time for plays to develop. I just see some question marks standing out a little bit for the Miami Dolphins. I think they're getting way too much hype to be with the Buffalo Bills atop that division. I am selling the Miami Dolphins in 2023. They're a bear.
Only thing I'll say against that, Darren, is that yes, we need to keep an eye on the health of Tua Tagovailoa for sure, but I don't think we need to actually plan for a guy to get injured. So in that case, although I finished talking about before how he is maybe one hit away from something, we don't need to go into that any further, but let's hope that he is healthy. Let's plan for him to be healthy. And if he is healthy, well, this offense was clicking on just about every cylinder when he was healthy last season before he suffered those injuries. And not to mention the speed on this team is obviously deadly with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, right? They also have Raheem Mostert as the number one back right now, who's a perfect fit for Mike McDaniel's rushing game.
Yep.
Yes, do they have some questions as far as health issues? Sure. And not to mention on the defensive side of the ball as well. That's where the improvement comes with this team as well. Let's not forget the Miami Dolphins went and got traded for Jalen Ramsey this offseason, who, sure, he is hurt. He's probably not going to be back until the home stretch of the playoff race. However, they still have Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey. When that starts to kick up a little bit, they had Bradley Chubb last year that they brought over. This defense is much improved. This defense, I think, is going to take another step. And I think that this should be among your teams that you're looking at getting to the playoffs.
Yeah. Don't sleep on the Canadian kid in that Miami Dolphins defense either. Javon Holland. That's our boy.
Oh,
Big fan of his. Big fan of
that's a dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's wrap things up here on the show. Super Bowl predictions. Who do you like to come out of the NFC and the AFC, and who is your winner of Super Bowl 58?
Okay, we're gonna go Kansas City. Okay, we're running this thing back. Okay, we're running this back. We're gonna go Kansas City versus Philadelphia Eagles. This time, though, we're gonna have a little bit of a different story unfold here. We're gonna go Philadelphia Eagles. We're gonna take this thing. You know what, Darren? I'm calling another audible. I just had a thought. I'm gonna take the Buffalo Bills against the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
But I'm still going to say the exact same thing. I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles prevail in this time around. Philadelphia is the cream of the crop of the NFC right now. I don't think anybody's really competing with that team. They are loaded top to bottom. They also just added, I think it was a 9th overall pick to their defense as well. They added more Georgia Bulldogs to this Bulldog defense. This team is loaded. Everywhere you look, there is no hole on this team. There was no hole entering the draft. There was no hole entering the offseason. They have somehow packed those potential holes even tighter. It is incredible what they've done, what they've been able to, Howie Roseman has done in the front office there. The Philadelphia Eagles are primed to return to the Super Bowl, but this time around, I don't think they're falling short.
Hey, you know what? I'll agree with you there. I also have the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of the NFC, but I'm not going to take them as my Super Bowl pick because you never know what's going to happen. It never shakes out how you expect. But I'm with you. The Eagles are stacked. They have got deck upon deck on on the felt in the casino to pull out the card they need when they need it. It is so impressive how they have kept everybody together. And I see
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts as he already is, but I just see him as elevating himself into that superstardom level in the National
Absolutely.
Football League as a dual threat quarterback. I am going to take a bit of a dark horse in the AFC and pick them to win the Super Bowl, Josh. Because you picked the Eagles, I can't pick the Eagles as well. So I'm going with my AFC champion team, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. I see
Ooh.
them as a team that is not just talented on both sides of the football, but they are veteran on both sides of the football, especially on defense. I think they have all of the pieces in place. And you look at someone like Lamar Jackson, who was an MVP a couple years ago, had all the contract conversation surrounding him all in his orbit for entirely too long over the past 12, 15, 18 months, whatever it's been. And I think now he is a little bit more focused and ready to be the leader that the Baltimore Ravens need. But the good news is they don't have to lean on him. They are so veteran laden, so well coached, and I think they are going to be battle tested in the best division in football, playing against the Bengals, playing against the Browns, playing against the Steelers, all difficult teams to play, even more difficult teams to go into their house and play against. So they'll be battle tested. We'll see how the bye weeks shake out and their health is going into the postseason. But I like the Baltimore Ravens to come away with the Super Bowl and host Lombardi in February.
Yeah, Darren, I don't hate that pick actually all day. I was trying to sit here and think, why would I not like that pick? There's got to be a reason why I don't like that. I actually love that pick, and the reason why I like that pick is because that offense, I think, in my mind, for a long time, I had said Lamar Jackson. I don't think will ever win a Super Bowl because just of how much he's in my mind, not capable enough as of a thrower from the pocket. You got to throw from the pocket to win football games in the NFL. This Todd Monken offense now, Todd Monken, the new offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, is going to ask Lamar Jackson to throw from the pocket a lot more. They're going to spread the receivers out. Lamar Jackson's still going to do his thing with his legs. He's still going to run all over the yard, but now he's also going to throw the football all over the yard as well. And that's the reason why I like the Ravens offense to elevate to even another step. And maybe, just maybe, we see the Lamar Jackson return to peak MVP form that we saw just a few years ago. This time, also getting a little bit more credit for what he's able to do with his arm. And that could be the key, the secret sauce, if you would, to the Baltimore Ravens coming out on top this year. So I really do like that Super Bowl pick.
Well, you know what I like? I like that you and I could agree on something as we wrap up the first NFL show here on Bonfire Sports. Thanks for joining me, Josh. Looking forward to a great 2023 season. And for everybody else out there, be sure to join us all year long. More to come here on Bonfire Sports.